I don't remember any of it.
You don't remember?
For you, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 110. Just a note before we start that you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, YouTube, and Vero at Rated G for Gamers. You can always email us at info@ratedgforgamers.com. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Bertino. This is my co-host, Dan. I probably drank too much last night. Robinson.
What's going on, man?
Well, it is St. Paddy's Day weekend. We are recording the day after St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. I know it's a belated celebration, but hope you all had a good weekend.
Well, you can't see me, but I have sunglasses on. Don't talk too loud in the mic. Okay.
I thought you were gonna make a John Cena reference. I was willing to go down that road, but I see where you were going.
Any John Cena references. You can't see me. Okay?
Right. Okay. Right. You know, the light's a little bit blinding. You know, your head may be pounding a little bit. You know, grab a cup of coffee, settle in.
You know what they say the best thing for hangover is?
What's that?
Greasy food and more liquor.
Well, the hair of the dog. Sure, the hair of the dog will bit you. Right. I don't necessarily know how true that is.
All right.
I don't know.
It's like a big bite.
I don't know really how true that is, but I am not going to deny a refreshing cold beer in the morning if somebody offers it to me.
Well, you know, I definitely had a cheeseburger, a nice big greasy cheeseburger with fries. I do not feel better.
See, there you go.
I do not feel better.
I could do,
and I had a beer too.
I could do the burger on my diet. Just take out the bun, take out the fries. Replace it with a side salad, and I'm good to go. Everything else is gravy.
That would take out everything, then. I mean,
no. You get all the ingredients of the burger, just not the bun. And you miss out on the fries, which sucks. But you know,
I need the bun.
You have to sacrifice something. I
need the bun. I can't sacrifice the bun. I need the bun.
See, that's where everything ends up falling apart. If I actually have the bun on my diet, like everything just spikes back up. No. See. Then you're just having a big fatty meal. That's not good. That's not.
Well, yeah, I'm a little hungover. Okay, Jack. I'm a little hungover.
Jack.
I got the big Jack from Jack Daniels. He's the reason why I'm hungover.
I see. Yeah, fair enough. So
what's been going on, man? Besides St. Patrick's Day, did you see that new Marvel trailer?
Hell yeah! I was just gonna ask you about it. Actually, I saw it.
We haven't talked about this. The trailer was amazing.
Oh yeah, no. It was okay. Well, I'm gonna pull it out again. I'm gonna dust off the Dave scale. On a scale of trash to fantastic. Like yeah.
Wait, how big is Thanos? Because he grabs in, he goes to punch Captain America, and Captain America grabs him, and he's like one of his fingers is
as big as his
America's
face.
hand. Yeah,
it's insane. And
you can see the Infinity Gauntlet. He only has 2 Infinity Stones on his knuckles.
That's right. I mean, one is in Vision's head. One, I believe, it's not in Thor's hammer, right?
Well, Thor's hammer is gone.
Thor's hammer is gone. That's right.
From Thor Ragnarok. Yeah.
That's right. So I mean, I definitely know Vision. Vision is powered by the Yellowstone.
Well, Doctor Strange has.
Oh, that's right. Doctor Strange has the green or the purple one, maybe.
I forgot the name.
Vision definitely has the yellow one.
Yes,
right?
Vision definitely has that one. And he, I mean, by the first trailer, it looks like he got it right. Like he was taking it out of his head. Now, what happens to Vision when you take the Infinity Stone out of his head? Because that's what brought him to
that's
life.
his power source. That's like it's like you ripping a processor out of a computer. You know, bad things are gonna happen.
And it looks like everybody's chilling with Black Panther, and I keep calling it Rwanda.
It's the fictional country of Wakanda.
Wakanda. I keep calling it the real country of Rwanda.
Right. Well, it's understandable. I mean, you know, they sound very similar.
But it looks like that's where the big battle is taking place.
Right. I mean that makes sense. You know, Black Panther just happened. You know, I still haven't seen it, but you know, I know every Marvel movie ties into the last one, so it would kind of make sense that, you know, the battle kind of takes place there, because I'm assuming the end of the movie happens in Wakanda, right? They have a big battle or whatever. They maybe have some cameos, some like introductions to set up Infinity War, and then boom.
No, not at all, actually.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Black Panther literally is his own thing. This is sort of like it sets up what the country is and who Black Panther is.
Oh,
has nothing to do with has nothing to do with the other characters.
Because I mean, like,
fact, you don't even see anybody. I won't tell you. I won't spoil it for you. But you won't even see anybody until the last credit if you wait to the end.
Right. So,
It has nothing to do with the war with Thanos.
Interesting, because I mean, if you remember in the last trailer, they had like Cap running or Cap leading the pack, and you know, Black Panther was right behind him, and then Black Panther's army was right behind him. And everyone was kind of in an uproar, like, how come Black Panther's not leading the charge and the whatever? But I just assumed that, like, they kind of met up towards the end and was like, all right.
Get this man a shield.
All right.
Vibranium.
Yeah. Oh.
So, no, I can't wait. The movie is actually, I think they pushed it up. It's coming out in April.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It got, like, pushed up by a couple days. There was a whole, I don't know if you saw the thing on Twitter or whatever, right? Like, who is it? Who's the guy that plays Tony Stark? I can't think of the name right now.
You can't think of the guy who plays Tony Stark?
Yeah, help me out here.
Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Thank you. Robert Downey Jr. on Twitter was like, hey, you know, whoever's directing the movie or whatnot, you know, any chance you can move the movie up by a couple days, right? And then, you know, the Marvel Studios like hits back and says, sure, you got it, and they just like push it back, because usually it's like March 3rd or 4th or whatever that like first May opening weekend is, like that's when they put the movie out, so they're like moving it up a couple days.
Wait, I didn't even know that he said that for real. That's a real story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure they had it all planned out beforehand, but they had that little back and forth. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know that happened. I gotta say, I was out of the loop on that one.
Yeah,
but
Twitter moves fast.
I would say the two funniest moments where Star-Lord is telling Tony Stark his plan sucks.
Yeah, he's like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. No, your plan is garbage. We should go with my plan.
And then
it's classic.
And Batista is just looking at him like,
yeah.
What?
He's like shaking his head.
And the second thing was Peter Parker is looking at Doctor. He introduces himself to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is like, "Hey, yeah, I'm Doctor Strange." He's like, "Oh, we're using the made up names. I'm Spider-Man."
Yeah. Oh, that was so good. And you know, like totally in that character style. You know, that just fit. That's what Marvel does so well. You know. They end up injecting humor into the characters that it works. It works. Take note, DC. Take note.
Who has a better American accent, Spider-Man or Doctor Strange?
Yeah, right.
They're both European.
Right.
They're both English.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so funny. Oh well, and Thor is Australian.
That's right.
Very diverse cast. I finally saw Logan over the weekend.
Oh. Wow, it took you over a year.
I haven't seen I still haven't. I saw Wonder Woman. Oh, so I saw Wonder Woman. I thought that was a good movie. I wasn't crazy about the end, but I thought it was a good movie.
Right.
I still haven't seen Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man Homecoming?
I still have to see that. That's on the list.
Good. So good. I think you'll like Spider-Man.
I want to see it before Avengers. So hopefully I'll get the chance to see it before Avengers. But I finally saw Logan. And I got to say, it was eh.
So it's on the low end on the Dave scale. No, not a fan.
I was not a fan. I love Wolverine so much.
I
can't give it trash. I'll be honest. I didn't even give the first Wolverine movie trash because I love Wolverine so much.
Right.
Hard to give Wolverine trash because his performances are great. It's the surrounding performances and story that usually sucks.
Right. Well, were you expecting were you expecting a typical superhero movie?
I can't say I was caught off guard because I knew what the premise was.
Right. Was that what you wanted? You wanted to.
It's not what I wanted.
Right.
I want to see a proper X-Men movie done like X-Men 1, fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
X-Men
X-Men 1 and 2. 2 was good too.
Fantastic. I was hoping to see a 3 that the X-Men 3's Last Stand was beyond trash.
It wasn't that great. Yeah, it wasn't that great.
I want to see. I wanted a new X-Men movie. Like I want to see them do.
Yeah,
their powers
this
and be great.
is Logan. It's not even Wolverine. It's Logan.
Okay, so I want to see Wolverine. I want to see. I don't want everyone to. I want to talk about it without spoiling it, even though it's been out.
Oh, I think we can spoil it. It's been out over a year. I think it's fine.
All right. Okay.
I think we can open those.
I'm going to talk about Logan.
Spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't seen it.
4,
skip ahead a minute or two.
2, 1. Everyone's dead.
Mm-hmm.
This is not what I want to see.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't mind seeing an old man Logan where he's depressed because something happened, right? But I don't want it to be where he's dead. I don't want to see Professor X with dementia cursing.
Right.
Just a standalone movie on its own. It was okay. It was good. But as an X-Men movie, as a Wolverine movie, it was very depressing, especially the end.
It was his swan song, because he's like, look, I don't want to be Wolverine anymore. This is the end of it. I'm getting old, So they're like, all right, we're gonna put you out with a bang. Don't worry about it. And I thought they did. I thought they did.
No, they did. They did. He went out with a bang. It wasn't what I wanted. And
I don't know. I was happy.
Like
it had a hard R, right? Like even the opening scene when he was outside, trying to go to his car, and the guy started messing with him. Like he legit stabbed some people. He like cuts them up, right? And I'm like, ooh, like this got heavy.
He mean business. business.
Yeah. So I mean,
I still don't get a lot of the like the plot, like what happened, right? It's like someone told me before I saw the movie that Professor X has dementia and killed all the mutants, and that's not what happened. He does have dementia, but he didn't kill all the mutants.
Yeah, I don't think that was true. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Apparently, they put some. I mean, we found out at the end. They put something in the water or the food that, like, genetically, if you're a mutant, like it killed you over time or something like that, right? And obviously, Logan, he's essentially dying. Something's wrong with him, and you don't really know throughout the whole movie. It doesn't tell you what's wrong with him. And I guess that's what's wrong with him. He's eating food and water, and it's screwing with him.
He got infected now. Yeah.
So he's not, his regular old healing self. Which is why he's looking old.
Right.
I get it. Again, I get it. I just wasn't a big fan. It's not what I wanted. That's why I didn't go to the movies to see it. So I
was very impressed with it. Like it was, like the trailer didn't do it complete justice. The trailer was a little bit weak, but I was definitely in. I was definitely in after like that first scene. I'm like, okay, this is the kind of movie that we're dealing with, and the whole way through, it was consistent. I was like, yep. So,
but it was a good movie. But let's get back to games. Okay, all right. So this show plays always on a Tuesday, every Tuesday, every week. Today, if you're listening to the show, Nintendo has announced their Nindies for March 20th.
Yep. So I mean, they've been kind of doing this the last couple of years, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, it'll just be the Nindies last year was pretty cool too. Right. I mean, I think that's when we found out Shovel Knight and Spectre Knight was coming to the Switch.
So there should be some good stuff in here, I think. It's probably going to be port heavy. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any exclusives necessarily, but good to see what's coming.
But the big thing, and this is like breaking news to the show, I saw actual leaked gameplay footage of God of War, which you did not see because about time you got
they took it down, but by the time you posted it up, it was basically taken down like very, very, very quickly afterwards. So new hotness, God of War 4 gameplay for the PS4, and thumbs up, yeah, it looked good.
Oh, wait, thumbs up. I mean, I already pre-ordered it. If I didn't pre-order it before that, I would have pre-ordered it after that.
Right.
want this game. Listen.
Well, okay. Did you think it was,
Kratos's axe is like Thor's hammer. You throw it to sort of stun an opponent, and it can come. You call it back to you.
Ah, that's awesome.
He has a shield because I guess enemies when they hit you, they're damn it can really take damage. Right, so you have to power up your armor, you have to power up the axe, you have to power up the shield. So it's sort of an RPG in that sense, like an action RPG, where you have to level up. So that's pretty cool. Your son, he has to be half god because you can tell him to attack people, and he attacks people, and he gets hit too.
Oh, interesting.
He gets hit, but he doesn't die. Those hits will kill a normal person.
Right.
So he definitely shows that he is half god. It is fantastic. It showed in-depth, real gameplay in it. I don't even know how this was leaked. I think somebody was previewing it at the studio, right? Like somebody was previewing this at Sony and took footage and put a montage together, and it leaked online.
Well, did it actually look like cell phone footage? Did it look like
it was
Handycam?
actual footage.
Really? Interesting.
I think they let them take under the guidelines that you don't put it out for a certain time.
You have to sign an NDA, and then some guy hit the publish button, and that was that.
So your son can read, I guess whatever the language is wherever you are, because you can't, because you're always asking him to translate for you. What does this mean? What does this mean?
Interesting.
And you use your son to help you solve puzzles, right? It's like, you have to get to this high point. Oh, well, I got to throw my axe here to break a pathway, and I got to throw my son up, and then he'll throw down a rope.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me a little bit of Ico, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right. Except you were the one that had to make the path for your partner, confidant, or whatever, and then she'd be able to climb up and this and that. So. I'm super hype. I'm sad that I missed the footage, but I mean the game's coming out in like a month, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's about 10 minutes worth of footage. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I'm stoked for this game. This is not like any other God of War game.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So, other than that, did you know? Do you actually watch YouTube on any other consoles?
I do not actually. It's funny you mentioned that because you were like, oh, they updated the app or whatever, and I'm like, well, yeah, because I've had the upgrade. I have the apps on my TV, right? Because it's got a good enough processor in there to be able to run things effectively. So I can just turn my TV on, and then I have the YouTube and the Amazon app and like Hulu and all that. It's just all built in. So. You were like, oh, they updated the app finally and this and that. It's got like the sidebar stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I had that for a little bit. So everything I think now is on the same page. Any like newish device should have this new layout, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've had this layout where you have the sort of the side, all the menus are on the side. I've had it on the PS4 for some time. And I thought it was just, this is the PS4 version and this is the Xbox version, which is vastly different. It was so much better in the PS4. Even though I still watch, I only I wouldn't say exclusively. I would say the majority of the time I watch it on my Xbox,
right?
Because my Xbox is hooked up to my cable box, so I'm always using that to watch TV. Right. So it's just easier to flip back and forth between YouTube and TV.
Yeah.
But I always thought the experience, the app was better in the PS4. So whenever I was playing the PS4, I would rather watch YouTube on the PS4 because you get the little preview, you get the side. All the menus on the side, on the left-hand side. I thought this was just, they out of nowhere just updated it. And now it's all, I guess, all the apps are the same.
Right,
and all I can say is it's about time.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
PS4 has been that way since I remember. 100%. Since I can remember even having the PS. Well, maybe like a year or two.
Right. Well, it's funny you mentioned apps in the interface, right? Because I have a tiny little TV which is meant to go inside the Wii U kiosk, which is still not complete behind me. I'm trying to deal with somebody on Instagram who's got some extra parts, trying to get him to sell me his extra parts. So we're working on that. But for the time being, I put the TV upstairs. Right, I got that in the bedroom, and that has integrated apps. Right, It doesn't have Wi-Fi. It just has an Ethernet cord. So I had to bring up the Wi-Fi extender, right? So I get the Wi-Fi to the box, and then the box to the TV is just the Ethernet cord. So that works. I got that all set up, right? And it does have like YouTube on there and Netflix and whatever else. So I hooked up all of the stuff. It required like a million updates, right? Because this TV is like 5 or 6 years old, maybe, right? So it's not the latest and greatest, but it'll do. It's fine for what it is. Nice little 32. And I'm like, I don't think any of these apps are going to work, right? So after all the updates, it was like literally 10 updates, right? I load up Netflix, and it works. It's got a ancient interface, but it works. And I load up YouTube, and it works. I was very impressed by that. Like,
wait, it all works? No, seriously,
yeah,
it works?
Yeah, it just worked. It just worked. After the updates, it just worked. I was so impressed. Like, I thought they would have abandoned it so long ago, but I have to give props to LG,
Nice.
That was pretty good.
I didn't even know you had it. I didn't know it was LG. Like, LG, listen, they make great monitors.
Yeah. Yeah, LG's
pretty good TVs. Pretty good TVs, but, like, really solid. Good, like, there isn't gaming
They're technically the only one that has an OLED screen on the market, which is those, like, they're the crazy TVs with the insane color. Like, that's like OLED is the top of the line, and like really LG is the only game in town where you can get them right now, which is insane. So in that respect, yeah, they're like number one.
Okay. And just lastly, what happened? Last couple of days, Twitch went banana. The whole internet went banana.
The internet blew up yet again. This was a Kim K moment for
over
sure.
Drake and a Twitch streamer called Ninja play a Fortnite Battle Royale. Which, like, they broke Twitch records.
They did. I
didn't even know about this. Well, like, I wasn't even paying attention to social media at the time. Like, I found out about this the day after.
Right. Yeah,
from CNN of all places.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of following it as it was happening on like Twitch because everyone was tweeting about it, and I'm like, what is this? And I look into it, and I'm like, oh wow. Like, this is pretty big, and some people were making comments because video games are in the spotlight yet again because of all these school shootings and whatever. Are they the source of things and whatever else and this and that? And, we're not going to get into all of that, but, it's good to see a story like this come out, I think, right? Because you have a rapper who is in the social spotlight, right? He's hip with the kids and this and that. I think he's a good icon. I think he represents the genre well. He represents his people well. And to see him on like one of the biggest multiplayer games of all time with a very prominent streamer, and then to have that like blow up the internet, like that's a pretty good solid moment for gaming, right?
Yeah, and he wasn't the only one. Juju Smith, actually, from the Pittsburgh Steelers, he joined in too. Funny enough. And I think somebody else I heard joined in. Another rapper I never heard of.
Oh, maybe.
I know. I'm showing my age. I don't know. I don't know a lot of these young rappers, but I know Drake. I love Drake.
Who is this Dr. Dre?
No, it's not that serious. Stop it. Stop it.
Look. It's pretty bad, but it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. I'm sure my mom is like, who is this Dr. Dre fella?
Yeah, right. And, does he have a PhD in hip hop philosophy?
No, but no. It's the funny thing is, as a side note, I remember listening to Drake mixtapes before he was signed to Young Money. Like, I was like, this dude Drake. I was like, this dude's pretty good,
right?
I was like, wow. And then he was signed to Young Money literally maybe like 8 months later. So, but he had like over 600,000 concurrent like viewers while he was streaming. Yeah, like he just broke some crazy. It was insane.
Records. He's got clout, man. He's got some clout. So he brings all the people. He technically brings all the people to the yard, right?
Wow, that was crazy. So now Twitch is like hosting the thing where celebrities sort of play games with popular streamers. So, I think it's good for the mainstream. It's the first time I've ever really heard gaming in the mainstream, but it wasn't anything negative.
Well, yeah, it's okay. So, I like their initiative. It's good if it's I mean, it is definitely a publicity stunt, but it can be good if the person who's playing it is actually interested in it. They've tried to get celebrities to play video games for the longest, right? And there's been a lot of cringeworthy moments, right? And that's what gets people upset. It's like, oh well, this person's not really into it. They're just kind of like whatever, and they're not really treating the subject matter of video games like properly, right? And they're just kind of like,
because they don't even care.
Exactly. So like, if you get people like Drake who are interested and are kind of into it and like, want to play and like really kind of interact and whatnot, like that's great. Like more of that, yes.
All right, do you remember Just Blaze? Remember Just Blaze?
I do.
Just Blaze.
I do. He was in the Def Jam Fight for NY game.
He was a part of Rockefeller. He was a producer.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact: I forgot. Was it Hard Night Life or I forgot? It was on one of those. Like I think it was like on Hard Night Life, maybe, or maybe it was on MTV. Fun fact: he got into producing records just so he can pay. He can have money to buy more video games.
Wow, there you go. Life goals right there. Life goals.
That was like I remember that from like early 2000s,
right?
From our Circuit City days. I was like, wow, he was producing records for Jay-Z. Well, I need to find my game collection. I'm sure he didn't know, Jay-Z. Like it was just he got into producing records in general, just so he can pay for more video games.
Wow, that's crazy.
But Dave, as we always try to start the show and epically fail, and today is no different. What have you been playing?
My favorite segment of the show, by the way. I was waiting for us to get into this. Yes, and you don't need to make comments on this because you always make comments on this. I am still playing Secret of Mana on PlayStation 4. Yes. There are these things called RPGs, and they do take time. And I'm taking my time with it. Well, I mean, you got a lot of money, you got a lot of bang for your buck. I'm almost halfway through it, maybe, which is good. I just saved Santa Claus because you can do that in the game.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, well, in this game there is, and it's actually kind of interesting, right? Because Japanese religion, the primary religion is typically like Shinto, which is not Catholicism, right? They don't have Christmas and Jesus and all that stuff. So it's very, very interesting to see him in the game, and it is very clearly Santa Claus, and the reindeer's like, I can't find my master, I can't find Master Claus, and he ends up being like put under the spell and turning into a giant, and the whole thing like it's a really good scene. So I'm just past there, and portably on the go. Much to your surprise, I am playing my collection. I am playing Donkey Kong 94 for Game Boy on my Game Boy Color.
What? Wait. Are you actually taking that Game Boy Color with you on the train?
Hell yeah, I am.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Gamers don't care. Hashtag gamers don't care.
Wait, but have you taken the Superboy on the train?
No, I haven't taken the Superboy on the train yet.
I think you would have to explain that to someone who's sitting next to you. They'd be like, excuse me.
I don't. Funny enough, on a Friday when I was riding home, I went out around the city for a little bit, and I was coming back from the Atlantic Center Mall, right? Picked up some groceries and whatever for St. Patty's Day, and the guy I was standing, and I had the Game Boy, and the guy was sitting next to me playing a 3DS. And I kind of looked over at him, and I was like, oh, cool, he's playing the 3DS. And he kind of like looked over at me, and he's like, Game Boy Color, very nice. And we didn't actually say anything, but it was just like all in the eyes. And I'm like, yeah, it was a nice little gaming moment. So,
well, as a side note, Hyperkin just released a new Superboy. They call it the Superboy SFC.
Oh, my God.
Which FC for Famicom, because it can play Famicom games.
Super Famicom games, yeah, which is definitely Famicom badass. If you have some imports,
Super Famicom game. Sorry, Super Famicom game. I definitely have a lot of imports. I'm debating if I want to buy it. Not anytime soon. Maybe for my birthday in a couple of months.
Hint.
Yeah, hint. Dave. Hint.
So that's what I've been playing. Just actually those two games. So what have you been getting into? That's the question. That's
All right.
what I want to know.
So I know I played Kirby Star Allies, the demo.
Right.
I actually picked this game up. I pre-ordered this game.
Really?
Yes, I did pre-order this game because I
Really?
like Kirby games. I'm sorry. I admit it. They're easy and they're easy to get through, and this game is no different.
Well, it's not like they're not fun. They're definitely fun games, but yeah,
They're
you can
definitely
breeze
fun.
right through it.
I
You can
would
breeze
guess
right through
the hard part on Kirby games is the collectibles, because trying to figure out how to get to that collectible,
Mm-hmm.
you know, figure out the puzzle can be tough. And this is no different, because you got to make sure that someone on your team, or maybe you as Kirby, or you possess that right person's powers to get to that secret area in that level.
Oh, right. So you need like the sword ability or the fire ability or whatever it is, and that'll get you through.
So if you need the sword and you're not a sword, you don't have the sword ability, and somebody else in your team doesn't have the sword ability, and it's like, well, then you're not getting that secret level, right?
And I'm assuming like some of those things are like there's one guy in the level that has the sword power, right? So you have to get it and then maintain it all the way to the point where you need it, which kind of adds a little bit to the complexity.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, that level definitely had a lot of people. Like if I just use the sword ability because it's just easy. Right. You know, they have a lot of people where you can befriend them, or you take a hold of their power and, you know, have the sword. But it'd be a level where it's like, oh my God, I need the fire ability. It's nobody on this level that's a fire person. I should have kept him as a friend.
Right.
So it's like, all right, so I got to go back,
pick up a fire guy,
and then go back to that level,
and
to get all the collectibles on that. So that's the challenge. Other than that, the game is easy.
Of course,
when you do the boss battles.
Right.
You always got to keep. You know, you can keep up to 3 friends.
Right.
They attack at will. Right. So it's like, I don't even. Oh, so far, I haven't beat the game yet or anything, but I've killed 3 bosses, and it's like I didn't even need to memorize the pattern of the boss's attacks, because, you know, while I'm dodging, they're all hitting him.
Right.
So I was like, oh, so this game is easy, but trying to get all the collectibles is the challenging part.
Sure. Are you gonna? Well, the question is, are you gonna try and 100% it?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe it depends on how long it takes me to beat it. And then I didn't know. Again, we don't have their Nintendo's online system, so there's no real reason for me to 100% it, because there's no platinum trophy, there's no achievement.
Well, you know, you may get some extra cool in-game stuff by doing that. You know, who knows?
I know, but I mean, you know, it's like when I play like a PlayStation game, I'm just picking it as an example. It's like, do I really want to platinum this game? Because having a platinum, like, that's a goal I can reach, right? That's a goal that you're trying to strive for. Sure. Unlike, you know, on Nintendo, and hopefully E3 we hear more about this, and hopefully there is a sort of a point system to where it's like you get a Mario statue, right? Because Mario statue would be sort of considered platinum. Maybe it'll be a platinum Mario or something like that.
Sure, that you know, there really needs to be something.
Give me a reason to want to 100% this.
Right. You know, it keeps you on the platform, and yeah. I mean, it's nothing but a good thing. It keeps you playing their games, you know, which is exactly what they want. You know, they want you on their system.
Yeah, and I actually finished Life is Strange Before the Storm, which was on the PS4, which is the prequel to Life is Strange.
Oh yeah. You've been trying to get me to play that for a while. I really need to jump into that.
I don't want to spoil anything for you, and if you, because this is sort of the prequel, so I already sort of know what's going to happen. It's the ending of this, because it's the prequel that leads into the first game.
Right.
I gotta say, like, not a lot of games get me to tear up, but I was a little emotional. It's
Dan Robinson showing some feelings.
It's serious.
This is monumentous. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. And I'm not trying to dog you for being a real man and shedding some tears.
Well, okay. So look, it's not even a spoiler, because like, you know about this.
Wait a minute. I don't know anything about this game. I don't know anything about
play it. Hurry up. Finish Secret.
Yeah, look. Just be very careful about your next words, because I may get salty.
Let's just say.
Go ahead.
Let's just say in the first game, there is a character that is missing, So you don't know who this character is. You never interacted with this character. This person is missing. Okay. Mm-hmm. You've heard about this character throughout because it's episodic. You've heard about this character throughout all the episodes.
Do you find out who that person is by the end of the prequel?
You build a relationship with this character in the prequel.
Okay.
And you find out why this character is not in the first game at the end of the prequel.
Okay. That is perfectly put.
Okay. Even though in the first game at the end you knew what happened to that character that you heard of. You've only heard of. You never met them. Mm-hmm. So it's not a surprise, right? It's like, okay, well, now it's like how and why, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you figure out more of the mystery.
Yeah, but now I've built a relationship with this character I just heard about.
Right. Prequel. And it gives it that much more meaning. Okay.
Yeah, and then after the credits roll, when you beat the game, you get a little glimpse into what happened to the character. And that part is what got me emotional because it's like I knew it, right? Because I beat the first game, so I knew what happened to the character, but just to sort of relive it, like after building a relationship with the character.
Right. Yeah.
It was bananas. I was like really, I was like, mother.
Yeah. So, okay. I will definitely get into it. I have the first one for Xbox One physically.
Please play it. Please play it. I mean, listen, if you like point and click adventures, this is a semi point and click because it's like a Telltale game, right? Yeah. Like you can either be a mean person or you can be a nice person, right? I usually, when I play games like this, I usually pick what would I do?
Right. Exactly. You put yourself in the persona of that person.
Yes. All right. Let me just kick off what I picked up this week. I didn't get a lot of pickups this week like I do other weeks. I already told you I picked up Kirby Star Allies for the Switch. I also picked up Devil May Cry, the HD collection. I actually want to play this. I got it for Xbox One. I wasn't big in the DMC series.
It's all run and gun hack and slash though,
I know, I should love it. And I really played a little bit of DMC 2. I didn't beat it. I really liked it. I didn't beat it though. I should go back to it. I want to go back to it. And now that I have the HD collection, I will go back to it.
There you go.
As we talked about last week, I bought Manhunt 2 on PSP.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I had to.
Right? Have you actually played them yet?
Manhunt? Oh God, no, not yet. I mean, I have one.
Get into it, man. It's it's fun. It's solid.
Well, I have Manhunt 1 for PS2 and I think the OG Xbox.
Yeah, so, it did come out for both.
And now I have Manhunt for PSP. Manhunt 2 for PSP PSP. And funny enough, the rare occasion I pick up an old PC game. Funny thing happened on the way to the Goodwill.
And the funny thing happened. It's that old Shakespeare play. The funny thing happened on the way to the Goodwill.
I was watching on YouTube GameSpot because Far Cry 5 is coming out. I pre-ordered Far Cry 5 for the Xbox One.
Of course, it's going to be fantastic.
It's coming out
very soon.
I watched the history of Far Cry and found out I have every Far Cry game except for the first one because the first one was PC only by Crytek.
That's right. Well, they did try and port Far Cry over to Xbox, as in Far Cry Instincts, but it was kind of a different game.
Yeah, it wasn't the same game as Far Cry 1. It was a little bit different.
Yeah, they added some new stuff in there, which PC
you had
port,
Animal Instinct.
PC, yeah. Well, that was the whole Instincts part. Yeah, PC version much better.
Oh, much better. Yeah,
fantastic. Like really good. The multiplayer was strong in that game.
So funny enough, I went to Goodwill. They didn't have any really good pickups. And I checked the CD section because they never really know what's a CD or a Dreamcast game or PlayStation game, or in this case a PC game. And what did I find? Far Cry 1 for the PC.
That's serendipitous right there. That's crazy.
So I was I was just watching this. Wow. So I picked it up. So I bought it. So now I have all the Far Cry games.
Yeah. Very nice.
So,
very nice.
What did you pick up? You pick up anything good?
I did. It is technically a digital release, but it is going on here because it is technically a pickup. So I got Enter the Gungeon. That's Gungeon with a G. It is a twin stick shooter. I got it on the Switch. I've known about this game for a while. It's really great, but I was watching the Beard Bros play it, and I'm like, damn, it's on the Switch now. I have to get it. So I bought it yesterday. The game is a roguelike twin stick shooter, right? So you have different character classes you can play as. There's like 4 to start, and then you can rescue other people that are trapped inside the dungeon or the gungeon, and then you can use them as playable characters. And you basically go as far as you can until you die, right? And there's like shopkeepers around the way. There's bosses on every level. Everything is gun themed, right? So you get a ton of guns that you can pick up throughout the game. Every enemy you fight is gun related, right? So you're fighting like shotgun shells and like different types of guns and bullets, and yeah, it's super good. They didn't make a physical release for that game, sadly.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. I don't know if they have a physical at all, honestly.
Well, when we get into the news, it seems to be a running theme that physical releases for Switch games come out much later than digital release.
All right. So, I picked that game up. I am going to be bringing the Switch with me tomorrow to play that game because it's fantastic. So I'm technically playing that now too, and deep into it. So there you go.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get into the top 10 gaming news of last week.
And in our convo of the week, we're going to be talking about next-gen predictions.
And we're back. All right, let's get into the top 10 gaming news of last week. So, I think we covered it when we covered the E3 floor plans came out, and it was pretty like everyone was just like, "Hey, Microsoft has a small booth this year."
Yeah, they very very small floor presence for sure.
I know. So Microsoft last week came out and said this E3 is going to be the biggest E3 ever in Microsoft, like the biggest E3 for Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
And not only do they have that small booth that's in the middle of E3.
Mm-hmm.
But they're gonna in the E3 show floor they're gonna have the whole Microsoft Theater, which is across the street.
Mm-hmm. They are backing their claim up. It is going to be a big E3 for them to be we're gonna have this theater next door with all of our stuff. That's pretty big.
Well, if you don't know, PlayStation has a theater in New York. I don't know if they have one in Los Angeles, but Microsoft has a theater in Los Angeles where the Game Awards is usually held. So I don't know what they're going to do, repurpose the stage and move all the seats and make it like a sort of E3 type event with gaming stations and stuff. I don't know. We don't know any details about what they're going to do, but to have that full sort of theater packed with gaming stuff, they have to have, this has to be like where they're announcing exclusive games that are not coming out this year, but next year and the year after, in the future. So
yeah.
Maybe they are going to have a big E3. Everyone thought they were going to have a small E3 because they had a small booth, but now we know why they had a small booth. Why have a huge booth when you
right? And this like Microsoft Theater, it's not an old theater. It's a fairly new theater. So they definitely make it in mind to be modular, right? To be able to handle whatever somebody wants to host there, right? They want a concert there, they want a convention there, they want a whatever there. They can make it work. They have to take the seats out, they'll take the seats out. If they have to, build a crazy huge stage, they'll build a crazy huge stage. Like
if they want Rated G to come and cover it for them, they'll have Rated G come and cover it for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm expecting some big announcements now. Now, I mean, before I was sort of thinking they have a small booth. Maybe this will be their focus on that one game that's coming out this year. And, it's more about just like what Nintendo did, right? They doubled down on Zelda 2 years ago and they doubled down on Mario last E3, right? maybe that's what the Microsoft is doing. But no, they're going all in. So we're gonna get some announcements.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they threw the gauntlet down now, so we're going to be expecting stuff.
Oh, it's the biggest E3 ever. I'm expecting
in their eyes, right? Like if you say something like that, you have to come out with more than just Super Lucky Tail and expect people to get wowed. You need to be like, yeah, you need to be like, Halo 6 is already out. It's downloaded on your Xbox. Go play it now. Like you need something of that caliber. Like it's got to be big.
I still don't think Halo 6 is coming out this year. I think.
Well, right. But I mean, they just, they need to have something big. They can't just have a for the par.
Minecraft 2?
A par level. I mean, maybe.
Minecraft 1 is still selling.
Something big is coming. Yeah.
What's not going to be exclusive or exclusive launch or exclusive with an asterisk next to it on the Microsoft stage?
Are you talking about Tomb Raider again? You talking about Tomb Raider? Because it sounds like Tomb Raider. This is Tomb Raider.
We officially got the announcement for Lara Croft's Shadow of the Tomb Raider coming out September 14th.
Big surprise. Not
the
really,
worst kept secret in gaming. We've known about this for like 2 years now, right?
Right.
Or like a year or something like that. I think one of the developers was he was designing the logo on the train, and somebody took a snapshot of it.
Right? They're like,
It's like, should you be doing this on the train? I think
right?
you should be
save it for the office. Save it for the office. Or maybe like change the words a little bit so they don't say Lara Croft and Tomb Raider.
Yeah. So, all right. So this game's coming out September 14th. Good. Mm-hmm. It's out of the way of Red Dead 2.
Right. Which is a smart move, They don't
want to make the same mistake they did against Fallout, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta give your game a little bit of space if you're going up against a heavy hitter. Like, there's no two ways about it. Unless your game is bigger than that heavy hitter, which is usually not the case, right? You do want to give yourself a little bit of time. Even just a week or two, can make all the difference, right? Because someone's got $60 in hand and they want to go to the store and they see like rinky dink kart racing going up against like Mario Kart, you're gonna get Mario Kart like 10 out of 10 times, Or
if you're Tomb Raider 2 going up against Fallout, you're just gonna get buried.
Yeah.
like it did.
Yeah.
They said this is the climactic ending to Lara's origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that mean this is it and you're going to reboot it again, or we're going to get more Tomb Raider games within this universe
realm or universe?
Croft? Yeah. It's just not focused on her sort of origin story. Now, I like the second Tomb Raider. I played like an hour of the first Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the second Tomb Raider. Because again, I'm more about this story-driven plot.
Mm-hmm.
I played the heck out of it. I played a good amount of time. I got to get back into it. It lost my interest sort of like after 3 hours.
Sure. I'll be honest. I haven't played them. I haven't played them since the early days. I know they've improved. But I just, not really crazy about Lara Croft as a character. Not really crazy about the game world and everything. Like, I know they've gotten good and the games are playable now and the controls are tight and they have interesting stories, but I don't know. For whatever reason, I just can't get back into it.
The movie's out right now.
It is the new one. The movie reboot. Yeah.
It's not doing so well. I don't think.
Well, I mean,
IGN gave it a low score.
They did. So it's not even that great. So, the fact that you're going up against Black Panther, which is still, I think, at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, that's kind of tough. It broke box office records again. I think it was number 1 in the box office again this week, even though it's almost been out for a month now. So, that's tough. Yeah, it's tough. Plus, you have the stigma of being a video game movie, which they still haven't managed to break. There hasn't really been the new good video game movie.
We got. Well, I guess we got 2 more weeks when Ready Player One comes out. That's a video.
Well, I got my tickets already. Already. I mean, that is essentially what Scott Pilgrim was. Scott Pilgrim was an homage to video games. Ready Player One is an homage to the 80s, and also video games are in that mix. So, there's a lot of licensed properties. Like, I think they've gotten everything that was in the book to be used in the movie. I was like, how are they going to do this? Because there's like everything is in there, like, Smurfs and He-Man and G.I. Joe and Street Fighter and like old Atari stuff and Mario.
I think there was a Master Chief sighting as well.
Yeah, everything is in there. It's like a crazy nostalgic trip. But they managed to get it all, and they got Steven Spielberg, the king of the '80s, the king of like that kind of genre movie to direct it. So, needless to say, I'm hype. I'm very hype.
Nice. All right, let's get into something serious. Getting our lead story. Toys R Us. I gotta say, I have fond memories of Toys R Us growing up.
Oh, did you want to be a Toys R Us kid?
I always wanted to be a Toys R Us kid. That
Same.
stupid giraffe, I tell you, man.
Same,
it holds
right?
a special place in my heart.
Jeffrey the giraffe, baby.
Apparently, they're liquidating their business and they're going under.
Right. So we mentioned this about a month or two ago. I think that they were planning on going out of business and it was going to be the end.
Well, they were in bankruptcy.
Right.
And we were trying to. Yeah, they weren't doing. They weren't liquidating. They were sort of reorganizing.
Right. And now it turns out they're pretty much chapter 7, maybe, is it? Right.
Chapter 7 is liquidation. Chapter 11 is reorganization.
Right. So chapter 11 is bankruptcy, but it's a different type of bankruptcy. A lot of companies can come back from that. Chapter 7 is it. You're basically done. And I think that also means, if I'm not mistaken, I know a lot of people are talking about it. I'm not 100% sure. But I think that the stock is going to be sold off to somebody else. And us as gamers and fans aren't going to be able to reap the benefits of, hey, buy one, get 10 free. I hope that's the case, but.
Well, okay. Well, look, it's the Wiz went out of business. If for younger listeners,
right.
Nobody beats the Wiz. That was another electronic. The Circuit City went out of business, for God's sake. I mean, we worked there.
Well, they're back now, technically.
Well, think of Best Buy. Okay, like Best Buy wasn't the only game in town. Once upon a time, they had Circuit City. They had Nobody Beats the Wiz. PC Richards, which is still around for now. We'll see. That's actually a privately owned company, I believe. That's not an open company.
It's still family owned, I think.
So Nobody Beats the Wiz went around, but PC Richards actually bought them, and they kept PC Richards stores that did well open under the name the Wiz.
Right. So you'll kind of see them around the South and over in the Midwest too. Yeah.
But the stores tried to, they liquidated most of the stores, especially up here, and there were some great deals. Unfortunately, I didn't have a job yet at the time, so I couldn't take advantage of those great deals. So this is not official. They're liquidating all their stores in the UK, and by all accounts, they're going to do the same in the US. There doesn't seem to be any sales going. They haven't announced any sales because they haven't announced liquidation in the US as of yet. By all accounts, they will, and I'm sure when we get closer to whatever day that will be the last day of the doors closed forever, I'm sure we're going to be able to buy one get 10 free.
At that point. You think?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Well, you gotta definitely do some hunting for me, because there are 0 Toys R Us's in the city proper, in like anywhere accessible for me in the 5 boroughs. There's
a huge Toys R Us where I used to go when I was a kid, like literally 15 minutes away from me.
Well, see, there you go. So if that store is still open and they're like doing sales, hit me up, let me know, and we'll clean them out.
I'm just gonna take pictures of everything and say, "What do you want?"
I'm just gonna reply with yes.
Same thing to my godkids. I have like 5 godkids. I'm like, guys, whatever you want, I'm here. I'm taking them all. Whatever toys you want, I'm getting the toys. Nice. And then action figures too, man. Collectibles. I'm taking them for me.
Yeah.
So I don't really talk about this on the show, but I do have boxes of comic books, cards, and action figures still in the plastic from when I was a kid. Never opened.
Right. That's surprising. You got to play with them. Why did you play with them?
Well, at that time, it was that borderline where you're getting action figures and you're getting, I guess are you really ever too old to play with toys?
Well,
is that well socially acceptable? I should say to play with toys because listen, it's objective, right? Well, subjective.
Sure.
But socially acceptable to play with toys. I was getting to that borderline stage where I'm like, I don't want to play with toys anymore, but I was still getting them. Right. So my stepfather at the time was, he collected memorabilia, like sports memorabilia. So to me, I was like, well, I'm going to collect action figures. So every time I got toys, I never opened them. I kept them in the plastic.
Good
so I have about 2 big bins of toys still in the plastic.
Oh, nice.
So I just don't have any time. I don't have any room to display them. And comic books and cards, same thing. But if I collected those, I would be in bankruptcy myself, because my focus is games.
Oh, of course. I mean, they are both very expensive avenues to go down, for sure.
Yes.
And action figures, you need a little bit more money to. You need a little bit more. I'm sorry, not a money, but space to house them all.
I need
a lot. Just physically that much larger than
I need a lot of space. All right. Yeah. Let's move on to a franchise that's been dormant since I think 2014, and that's Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell.
So, would you say it was hiding in the shadows,
it was hiding in the shadows, and those 3 green lights just popped on. Well, maybe Amazon sort of maybe did a boo boo and leaked.
Did a boo boo, huh? Can you explain to me what "did a boo boo" means?
Well, I mean, listen, we'll be here all day if I have to explain "did a boo boo." But it looks like they leaked Splinter Cell, a Tom Clancy Splinter Cell game for 2018 on Amazon. They have now taken it down, but by all accounts, we haven't seen Splinter Cell since Blacklist, and that came out on the Wii U. Did it come out on this gen? Did it come out on PS4 and Xbox One? I don't know.
I'm actually not sure.
I know it came out on the Wii U because I have it. And I think that was about 2014, 2015. So we haven't seen it in a while. So it's about time this game comes back out. I'm not a big fan of Splinter Cell. It's a stealth game.
Surprise, surprise.
Stealth games.
Surprise, surprise. It is definitely not your jam.
There is one game in the series that I do like. I forgot the name of it off the top of my head. It wasn't Blacklist, maybe like the 3rd to last game that came out that wasn't well received because it wasn't it wasn't a stealth game. It was more of a shooter, and that's what I want. So, but it wasn't well received because traditionally games are more stealth.
I'm pretty sure that was Conviction.
Yes, Conviction. I like
Conviction. You can do that. It's very difficult to do that when you're known for one particular thing. It's kind of like your thing with Logan, right? You were turned off by it. A lot of people were turned off by it because they were expecting a superhero movie and they got a R-rated, drama with some heavy action in it. And,
I got a depressed superhero movie.
Exactly. I mean, I loved it for sure. I was like, yeah, this is awesome final send-off, but, it doesn't necessarily click with everybody. So I get that.
You know what else doesn't click with everybody?
Uh-huh.
The Atari box.
Oh, the Atari box.
Ooh, the Atari box. It was posted, it had an Indiegogo? Was it Indiegogo?
I think so. One of those, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, one of those.
Yeah, I don't think it was Kickstarter because in Kickstarter you have to have actually working prototype. I think it was I think it was on Indiegogo.
Maybe
It was supposed to launch in December and then it was delayed.
Mm-hmm.
But we got news. We got confirmation that Atari will be at GDC, the Game Developer Conference, this week.
Which should be coming up real soon.
Well, if you listen to this on Tuesday, it is this week. To us, it's next week. And they will be showing off a prototype of the Atari box. And not only that, they're going to be there with Atari Flashback Classics coming to the Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Are you excited? You're going to get old Atari games on new gen.
Well, that's great. I mean, I love the compilations. Compilations are usually pretty good. As long as they're, put together in a nice package, and they're priced accordingly, because I can't really play an Atari game more than a couple minutes, honestly, at a clip,
That's not really our generation, right? Because we were kids when Atari came out. Well,
I mean,
at least I was. I mean, you were in high school, right?
I was in high school at the time. Yes. I was an old man. I was 49 at the time. To keep that joke going. No, it was definitely the first console I played on because my brother had it, so I played it. I wasn't very good at it, but I remember it fondly. It was not great. A lot of the ports weren't great. They were hastily put out. Pac-Man in particular was a very poor port, probably one of the worst ports that ever came out. And a lot of the arcade conversions weren't that great. A lot of the original games were okay, but they're very simplistic when you look back on them. It's very hard to sit down and play these games over and over again, right? So. And not to mention, we've been able to play these games.
If you weren't from that generation, a lot of people have nostalgia for.
Well, it's different though. I mean,
Atari games, yeah.
We talk about a game holding up, right? You sit someone down and have them play the original Legend of Zelda. That game holds up. Mario Brothers holds up. Mario 3, best Mario game of all time. That holds up.
Mario World, yeah.
I don't think a game like Yara's Revenge necessarily holds up, right? It's
you don't think
it's very basic.
Holds up, or the original Pitfall?
The original Pitfall is pretty good. It's probably one of the highlights, but even still, you can and actually the game doesn't end. It just goes around again. But you can get through all of those screens in like maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then you're back to the beginning again, and you basically mastered the game.
A lot of when we ventured into 3D, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those first gen 3D games definitely don't hold up.
Oh, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
The
That's what I'm trying to say.
The
like
controls
back
are not
then,
good.
and those old arcade Atari games, a lot of those games don't hold up well.
Right, and this is what the Atari box most assuredly, if it doesn't come packed in with a bunch of Atari games, you'll be able to get them for like $1 or $2 or whatever their pricing scheme is. You'll be able to get all of these games again. So yay, I can play them on a machine that arguably looks very nice, right? It does have the 1970s feel in full effect. So I'm digging that, but I'm not ready to pay $300 for a machine that plays those games and maybe some Steam releases. Like I just don't really see what the draw is,
Well, for people who are nostalgic for those games, and again, I'm saying like everything, there's always a bubble, right? Atari games were expensive to buy when the video game market came back, when Nintendo brought it back, and then it went down. And right now you can get Atari games, unless it's super rare, for like $1.
Yeah,
right.
It's super cheap.
At some point, those games are going to go back up in value.
Maybe.
I think. And then it'll go down, and then it'll plummet. And same thing with like NES games and SNES games, right? Hopefully. They're going
to get to a point, right? They're going
to hit the point to where they can't go any higher.
Right, exactly. And then as soon as people start losing interest,
care about.
Right. People are going to lose interest, and then it's going to dip back down, and
Yeah. Let me just. I think this is good because remember when we had that Indiegogo, it was delayed. In large part, in my views, because they didn't have a working prototype.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe they thought they would have at the launch of the Indiegogo, and then they saw that it wasn't working or whatever. So that them having a working prototype to sort of show off to developers, and they're confident enough to go to GDC, a developers conference, shows me they have something worthwhile. Yeah. So I'm semi excited about this. Atari Flashbacks, I already have it for Xbox One. I don't know if this is going to be anything new, or is it?
Well, Flashbacks 3 is volume 3 of the series, so there shouldn't be any repeats. It should be all new games. Well, all new games in terms of the compilation standpoint.
Yeah, is this just the compilations that are already out for other platforms coming out to the Switch, or what?
I don't think so. I think it's all games that weren't on the other two. So it may be worth buying in that case. They have some heavy hitters on there, like just kind of looking at the list of what they have. Like you get Adventure 2, which is pretty good. Air Raiders, Atari Baseball, Football, which those games don't really hold up. But Fire Truck, Frog Pond, which old school favorite of mine. Millipede, sequel to Centipede. Saboteur, Skydiver, Super Breakout, and Yar's Return, sequel to Yar's Revenge, and
Nice.
a handful of other games. I think there's about 20 or so on there.
I mean, I have Atari flashbacks for I have 1 and 2 for the Xbox.
Yeah.
Xbox One. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it'll be something different. But I'm excited to hear. I'm always excited to hear something, from Atari. I don't hate Atari. They just do stupid stuff.
Well, Atari's not Atari. I mean, they've the
Atari that we've known.
Atari company has been dead for a long time, and they've sold off the brand to many different companies. So
I think 3 different companies. There are 3 different Ataris, to be honest.
Yeah. So I mean, the Atari company that put the Jaguar out was not the Atari company that put the old 2600 out, or the 5200, or the 7800. So that was even a new team and a new company. And you're right, now like different like there's one company that owns the brand, one company that owns the game licenses. That's crazy. It's crazy.
I know, but I'm never excited for GDC, but it's something good. Like I like to see the awards, the GDC awards, and hear stories and stuff like that. But this gives me some actual semi buzz that what is Atari Box and what would the developers think of it, and what is this Atari Flashback Classics? Is this something new? Is this something that's already out that's coming to the Switch that they just want to bring to the Switch? I mean, what? We don't know. Let's move on to another secret, the worst kept secret in video games. The Witcher's Geralt will be in Soul Calibur 6. It is official.
Well, yeah. We covered the rumor last week. It kind of made sense, and confirmed in Soul Calibur 6. That will be their game tie-in character.
Well, he will be a tie-in character on all systems: PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Right. Are they making a PC version? Is that
I think it is a PC version too.
No. I mean, I know it's definitely Xbox and PlayStation.
I think it's coming to PC
would
too.
Be interesting. Yeah.
I think, but he is not. It is. It's PC. Yeah, it's PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So he is not just going to be a special console version. He will be in the main game. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. I still think we're going to get console versions, maybe, right? You don't think we're going to get special console versions? Like there'll be somebody for PS4, there'll be somebody for Xbox, and maybe.
I think we would have heard. I think we would have heard it. I mean, maybe, but I think The Witcher is going to be the tie-in. Yeah, I mean, really? they have most definitely done. Actually, I think we talked about it last week. They had console exclusives like PS2 got Heihachi, Xbox got Spawn, GameCube got Link, which was kind of neat. The 360 and PS3 got different characters. They technically, you could get the DLC for each one later on. They had the Star Wars tie-in, so you could play as both of them had the Apprentice from the Force Unleashed game, and then you could play as Vader and Yoda, respectively, on 360 and PlayStation. And then you could get them as DLC later on, so they kind of combine those things. But I honestly think this is it. They usually don't go overboard with their character tie-ins, but maybe.
Well, which is a big series. I think it'll be. I think they would to create more buzz. They'll have at least one more guest character, even if he's not console exclusive. So, let's talk about Sega. We talked about Sega visiting Microsoft like 2 shows ago, and what could that mean, right? I said that Xbox wasn't going to buy Sega. Like Microsoft is not going to buy Sega. I don't think Sammy Sega would let that happen. But you know what Sammy Sega is going to let happen? And this is where we're going to get the R rating on the show, the explicit tag on the show.
Well, this is all you, my friend.
Yeah, Sega. I was pissed when I heard this. Sega Genesis Collection announced for the PS4, Xbox One, but not the Switch.
Ooh, what shafted the fuck? Yet again.
What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
Shafted yet again. Yeah,
you know what? I don't know. Maybe Microsoft needs to buy them. Come on, not the Switch. Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
It's over 50 games.
Yep.
I think
it's the largest collection to date, I think, of Sega titles.
Yeah, I think isn't this like a mixture of Mega Drive, Sega Genesis, and what was the
Master
first system?
The Master System. I don't think there's any Master System games on here.
Well, let's go through them a little bit. You got Altered Beast, Beyond Oasis, fantastic games. Well, Altered Beast, doesn't really hold up. But at the time, if you're a Sega kid, you thought it was a great game. Because I know I was a Sega / Nintendo kid, and I really liked Altered Beast. Hard as balls, though. Comic Zone, a game that I still like.
We got Crackdown, a game we thought that was exclusive for the Xbox One is not now. It's a different Crackdown.
You know what? And
it's a different Crackdown.
I was like, Crackdown.
Yeah, right. I've actually never played that game, but
Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. That's going to come out on there. Golden Axe 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. Crazy good.
Gunstar Heroes, which is a fantastic, expensive game.
Which is definitely new, based on the previous collection that came out last year, or that was on the Flashback console, I should say. The At Games thing. Phantasy
Star 2 and 3.
And 4. Yeah, 2, 3, and 4. The first one was on the Master System, which is why it's not here. Landstalker, which is great. I think that was like an action RPG game. All the Shining Force games, 1, 2, and Shining in the Darkness.
Rystar, that was supposed to be another major mascot for Sony. I mean, for Sega. That never really turned out that way. And I like Rystar, actually.
Yeah.
All the Sonic games except for Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3. You got Sonic 3D Blast,
Sonic and Knuckles is not there.
Sonic and Knuckles is not there, and Sonic 3 is not there either.
Sonic Spinball, Sonic 3D Blast, Sonic 1 and 2, not 3 or End Knuckles. Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. But you get Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3. Toe Jam and Earl, and Vector Man 1 and Vector Man 1 and 2, and Wonder Boy 3.
Yeah, they have Virtua Fighter 2 on here. I think that may be a typo. I don't know if Virtua Fighter came out on the Genesis. I know they made Virtua Racing, which was okay at very low frame rate.
Let me ask you a question: Does the 32X count? Because I know there was a Virtua Fighter on 32X.
I guess it could. I mean, it doesn't say anything in the compilation about there being 32X games, but maybe that's it.
No, Virtua Fighter did come to Genesis. I'm looking at it right now.
That probably performed very poorly, and was probably like $1 million.
It came a Virtua Fighter 2 came out for Sega Saturn and Genesis.
Wow. Yeah. Oof. It does not look that great.
And you can buy both of them, the Sega Saturn version and the Genesis version, for $12.
Yeah, right. Oh, this looks pretty bad.
The question is, why isn't this coming out for the Switch? And I have to say, Philip Neeson for IGN, he took over for Jose, who went to go work for Nintendo. He took over sort of like the Nintendo beat for IGN. And he has an interesting theory. He thinks Nintendo is the reason why this compilation isn't coming out on the Switch. He thinks it's over 50 games. This would be the largest compilation ever released, right?
Yeah.
He thinks Nintendo stopped that because they want to use some of these games on their eShop.
They want a single price nickel and dime you and sell you Sonic for $5 as opposed to, $30 or $40 for a compilation.
Or use it maybe for their service where it's a free game for that month, right?
Possibly. Because, there's like no reason you can't, because this is all just emulation anyway, right? There's no reason you can't put it on the Switch. It wouldn't be that difficult to port it over. So, that theory may hold some water for sure.
We got more Sega news. So Sonic Mania, we both loved that game that came out last year.
It was the greatest Sonic game in the last 20 years.
It was. It definitely was.
I am legit not lying about that. All the 3D ones were they were trash to okay at best.
And we even got the special edition where it came with the Sonic statue on top of the Genesis.
But you didn't get a physical game; you just got the digital version. You had to download it. All right.
Which I got to be honest, I have the app, the collector's app, where I keep, I sort of keep a log of all my games.
Right.
This is the only game on there that I have on there that is digital, and I don't own the physical one. You know why? Because I knew this day would come. Sonic Mania Plus.
Yep.
Physical version for Sonic Mania has been announced for the summer. Why do they do this to us? Why do we get the digital version way in advance and then later on it's the physical version?
Well, I know you, and you know me. Even if we had physical versions, it still wouldn't stop us from buying this. It's gonna happen.
I'm buying this.
And it has extra content in there. We're gonna get it,
It has extra content in there, and there are 2 more characters you can play that are playable in this game that I've never heard of. I've never heard of these characters. I don't even know where they're from. I mean, they must be from like it wasn't one of these characters from like Knuckles Chaotic that was a 32X exclusive.
Possibly, yeah. They had some weird characters like
Mighty Armadillo
and Vector the Crocodile.
Well, the 2 characters are going to be Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel.
Yeah. Mighty's the one from Chaotix, I think.
Yeah. But this is pretty cool. It's coming out PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch. You have a 32-page art book, and it will have a reversible cover, where the reversible cover art would be sort of like a Genesis game cover art.
Oh, that's solid. That's great. I mean, they definitely know their audience with that. It's like, look, we know you love the Genesis. Here's a little throwback nod. You can flip the cover around if you want.
If you already own the game digitally and you don't want to buy the physical version, there will be some way to get the new extra content separately. They haven't announced any pricing though, so it won't be free.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be.
Well, if it's $5 or $10, it'd be kind of decent.
Yeah. You can buy the physical version for $30, so it's pretty cheap.
Yeah. Nice.
So also we found out that they Sega teased a Sonic racing game, Sonic R. We got a little teaser trailer of that.
It was straight up just a logo with some sound effects and behind it.
Revving cars, yes. And
everyone is speculating it looks very much like the old Sonic Racing logo. So most signs point to yes on this, I think.
I mean, the last Sonic Racing game we got was Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, which I really liked, and I have it for the Vita. I have it digitally for PS4 because it came out as a PS Plus game a few years ago.
Right.
I do want to get the Wii U version. I like that game. I put that game up there. It's not better than Mario Kart, but it's up there. It's up there. It's under Mario Kart.
I was about to say, well, you think it's number 2 compared to Mario Kart's number 1?
Yes. Yes.
All right. I mean, they're definitely okay games. I never thought they were anything special, but apparently the internet seems to think otherwise. Like everyone was like crazy going nuts over this. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I'm probably going to hard pass on it unless it's just as good as Mario Kart. Cause I can just play Mario Kart is my thing, but
well, a lot of people are nostalgic for Crash Team Racing. Right, I know you're not a fan of it. I like.
It's not anything special. It's really not anything special. A lot
of people think Crash Team Racing is special. People love that game.
I mean, they have nostalgia for it, but it's an okay game at the end of the day.
Well, I like it. It's not better than Mario Kart.
That's the thing, though.
It's better than Mario Kart 1. I tell you that. Let's put it that way.
But that's unfair. I mean, you put it up against its contemporary Mario Kart 64. You're going to play Mario Kart 64.
Well, I also have nostalgia for Mario Kart 64, the best Mario Kart ever made. Just saying.
It's a quality game,
All right, let's get into our final story of a new story of last week. Funimation on Twitter, asked Nintendo, when will Goku join the fight to Super Smash Brothers? Bandai, just to give you a little context, Bandai Namco, they make Dragon Ball games, and Bandai Namco made the last Smash Brothers games. So this is not far-fetched. This is something that possibly could happen. And I want this to happen because I love Goku. And
he'd be a good fit, I think. He'd be a good fit.
And you know what? I know everyone's gonna be pissed if this Smash Brothers is just a port of the last Smash Brothers, but you know what would make it worth it? If they keep all the characters from Smash 4 in this Smash. We don't know if it's Smash 5 or Smash DX.
I will bet money that it's not DX, but
I'm with you, but just in case it is a DX, have Ryu. You had Ryu in Smash 4. If you have Ryu and Goku in this Smash.
Well,
this will be the first time Ryu.
That's every fanboy's wet dream right there. You know, like they just want that to happen.
I would love to have Ryu.
It'd be badass. It'd be badass.
I would want a proper fighting game with Ryu and Goku.
Well, I don't think that's gonna ever happen. But
I think Capcom and Bandai Namco can make this happen.
Maybe. I mean, they did do
Capcom versus Bandai Namco. It could be a game. I mean,
they did do Street Fighter Cross Tekken. That was the thing. That was the thing. So yeah, I mean, it's not out of the realm. They've been doing this. You know, they've been doing this for the last couple of Smash games, right? So to see a tie-in like this is not that far-fetched, you know. And
I mean,
I think it'd be cool.
Funimation made the whole silhouette, the whole Smash silhouette, where it's a shadow, right? Where it's just the outline. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think there's with smoke, there could be some fire, right? And we're not going to hear anything until E3. I think Goku could be the big guest fighter. Against character in the Smash.
And they have to have some new people in there. You know, they're probably going to do another tie-in because that's just what they do. You know, they're probably going to lose some of the characters due to licensing. Sadly, you know, it'd be great to see Cloud again, but I don't know if Cloud's going to be back.
I don't think. I'll be honest. I don't think Cloud or Bayonetta would be back. I know you think Bayonetta will be back because they're essentially a Nintendo character, but people thought Bayonetta in Smash 4 was too powerful. Like they even had to patch. They even had to patch her.
Well, that's not out of the ordinary.
Less powerful because like it was hard to get out of that combo.
Right. I mean, they always do gameplay tweaks after the fact. You know, they realize because here's the thing: like if there's an exploit that allows you to win, people are going to gravitate towards that strategy 10 out of 10 times, right? Because everybody wants to win. So if that's the case, they go, okay, we need to fix this. So they game balance. You know. I mean, if she needs more game balancing, like they can do that, you know, they can make her a little SOP. I feel like she's a good candidate to come back.
They would have to make her less powerful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not that hard to do. If fans didn't love the character and they just didn't want to play as her because it was like, I don't really like the character. That's kind of one thing, but
so, all right, news done. Let's get into the convo of the week.
So this comes off, I guess, hot off the speculations that Microsoft and Sony are kind of gearing up for the next generation, right?
So soon? We just bought the Pro and the X.
I know, which is sad, right? You know, because they put those out to be a stopgap to say like, hey, look, we can do 4K too. You know, it's not PC only.
$1,000 stopgap.
I know. I mean, if you bought both,
I got the 4K TV and everything.
I know, man. I know. So, you know, those were kind of a stopgap. They weren't gonna extend the life of the console by like 4 or 5 years. Like that's not gonna happen. It's just, look, here's a incremental improvement, and you know that'll kind of keep us in the game for a little longer. But there's speculation now that maybe we'll hear some rumblings at the E3, most likely next in 2019. We'll hear a bunch of details. We may get a 2020 launch if we don't hear anything at this E3. So we wanted to kind of speculate a little bit on what we think like the next gen consoles would be, right?
Yeah.
And
some of our predictions and what we think is realistic and some of our wild predictions. And I got some wild predictions for you.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess we can kind of get right into it if you want. You know,
all right.
Do you want to give me your first? Yeah, go for it. You know, give me your thoughts.
All right. Well, first of all, there was a patent that was filed. Right. There's more rumors out there for PlayStation 5 than there is for the next Xbox. Right. I mean, there are already talks about PlayStation 5 being a streaming box, and there was already a patent filed for backwards compatibility, right, for PlayStation 4 games. So it's sort of like PlayStation 4 games could be played on the next gen console, which is just smart. It makes sense. And it's easier because the architecture of the PS3 was pretty difficult, right, to program for. If I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, it was kind of its undoing that gaming generation.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say. I don't think because we spent $1,000 on this mid-generation upgrade, I think we're not going to see new systems until 2020 the earliest. We'll probably hear about it next year or hear more rumors next year, but I think 2020 at the earliest. I think 2020 E3 we're going to hear it, and it's coming out this holiday. So I think we got another 2-3 years left.
You think?
Yes.
Maybe. Okay.
I don't think the next box is going to be a strictly streaming box. Whatever the next Xbox is, whatever the next PlayStation is, will have disc drives.
That's not a bad prediction by any means. They are going to go heavy on digital though. Like we know that's the inevitability in the end. We may get one more generation of having disc drives for sure.
I think we will get disc drives, because that would be a drastic change for it not to have a disc drive. I think we will get heavy on the streaming and heavy on the digital, which is why I think the hard drives on the next generation will be minimum 1 to 2 terabytes.
I think they have to be. Yeah, 500 gigs just is not going to cut it anymore, because that's like a handful of games.
I don't even think a terabyte. I think it has to be at least a 2 terabyte. I think they have to go at least 2 terabyte on
right. Or I mean, if at least have a 1 and a more expensive 2 terabyte offering, right? Or like an easy way to swap out the hard drive. Make like that a thing, kind of like how it was in the 360.
Well, that was going to be my next thing, where they will be upgradable, to where maybe they'll say, all right, you know what? We'll give you a 500 gig as a default, but you can upgrade it with a regular computer hard drive. I mean, the PlayStation 4, you can upgrade to you could just get a regular desktop hard drive and upgrade it yourself.
Yeah.
I think they'll do the same thing. I think the Xbox one, you cannot upgrade. You have to use an external. And PlayStation, finally, now you can use an external one. I think you can actually upgrade, not just external, internal one as well. And I mean, you think you upgraded like a PC, maybe like
well, you have
or anything. No,
you have to be careful with the upgrades, because as soon as you start saying like, oh, you can get a better graphics card and a better whatever, that means people aren't playing on the same hardware anymore, right? So how do you make your game for that, right? Like console gaming has always prided itself on being like, look, it's no mess, no fuss. You just plug it in and it's good to go. And that's slowly kind of deteriorating, because now you need to like set up your Wi-Fi or your network. You got to make sure like, the TV is capable and that's kind of set up correctly. And, there's definitely a lot more steps involved. But one thing that kind of hasn't changed is the hardware, right? Like we do have a small segmentation where there's like the Xbox One and then the One X. But you got to be careful, because like if you put in like the latest and greatest in there and it's like, well, I have this, but you still need to build your games to work with the original hardware, right? That's like always a problem. So I think the modularity aspect is right. It's just a matter of like what things will be modular. I mean, maybe we'll have upgradable graphics cards, which, could kind of be a thing.
You know what? The more I think about it, the more you're right. It will just be the hard drive. I think it just won't be external. I think Xbox and PlayStation, well, PlayStation already does it, but PlayStation and Xbox would definitely have, you can upgrade your internal hard drive with a regular desktop hard drive.
Right. Well, here's the thing too. Like, think about this. They tried to do this a couple of years ago. The the OnLive service.
Yeah.
The OnLive service, for like people who don't know, it's basically streaming, right? So you get a small little like dongle almost, right? It has a network connection on there and it has an HDMI out. You got a wireless controller that I believe hooked up through Bluetooth, and you would stream all of the games in, right? And it had a small library of games. So there was no real like hardware on the system, right? It was just a net connection to be able to get the data to come through, and then HDMI, which would send the signal out to the TV. And, it did do HD, and it was okay for what it was, but it flopped very quickly. It kind of went out. And this was like, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I think. There's a possibility that the consoles won't be consoles anymore, right? And it'll just be a streaming service like through and through.
But I don't think we're there yet. I think that's maybe 2 generations ahead.
Right.
That's why I still think we're going to
Right.
get a disk drive.
Right.
On these consoles, sort of the bridge, right? Because I think it's going to be a bigger hard drive, or they'll give you 500 and say, well, it'll be easier to swap out the hard drive and upgrade your hard drive internally.
Right. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Xbox already sort of has Xbox Games Pass, right, for $10, and by all accounts, I think they're going to double down on that service and maybe put that on PCs as well, to where you can play these games anywhere. You go on your Xbox or on your PC, $10 a month, right?
Right. Kind of do it like how PlayStation was doing with their PlayStation Now, right?
Except for you download the game,
right,
and you own the game, but you can only play it as long as you have that service,
right?
It's just like getting a game for Xbox, PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live. Same concept. I think PlayStation Now is all streaming. Where if you don't have a good internet connection, you're gonna get a lot of lag, and it's horrible if you're gonna do multiplayer games. So I think Sony had the right idea. They just had the bad execution, because their pricing for Now was horrible. But they had the right idea, because they had streaming on all of their devices. You can stream. I think you could stream on their Vios before they sold out the Vio business. But you definitely stream on their TVs. My TVs, my newest 4K TV doesn't have it, but my other TVs, my 40-inch TVs, had Now already in it. All I need to have is PlayStation 3 controller.
Right, and it would just kind of work. And like, I'm sure you tried it out and everything, right?
Yeah,
it was a pretty good experience, right? Yeah,
and it worked. And I'm okay. They should have that on all their TVs as an option, right? They took that away, and I think that was a bad idea. They need to have that as an option. They just need to lower the price a little bit, but still have it where if you're playing on their TV, you can stream. If you're playing on your console or your computer, because now you can have PlayStation Now on your computer, you can stream or you can download.
Right. And like here's the thing about that, right?
I think you need the option. I think the option, you need to have that option.
Well, here's the thing about that, right? If they do all streaming, right, then what happens is the hardware thing basically goes away, right? Because the hardware is on their side, right? So if you have enough throughput to get all the data down and to get a 1080p picture minimum and get a decent frame rate and be able to send all that through the network, right? Then they can just upgrade their servers and whatever at a will, right? They have we're gonna do a GPU upgrade to all our systems, right? And you just get better performance across the board, right? We're gonna do this thing, right? And you're paying, $10, $20 a month or whatever it is for this service, right? And as long as you have that service, you can get these games to play, But it still may be a little ways off for sure. But that kind of gets around that, that gets around that thing, and then they can make them compete.
You can't have a drastic change like so soon, right? I mean, look what happened to Xbox, right? Like that Xbox E3 presentation for the Xbox One was a disaster. And a lot of those things that they wanted to do then are what they still want to do, right? But people are more receptive to it right now. A little bit more receptive to it right now. It's just you can't have that drastic change. You need the bridge. You need to go between.
You got to prepare people. Like, look, this is going to hurt. There's no more hardware in the house anymore. Here it comes. Yeah. No, I think you're right. You got to get people acclimated and adjusted to it, which, one of the things they've been doing really well is whenever you buy a game digitally, right, they'll always discount it by just a little bit to get you acclimated to putting your credit card in and purchasing games and storing them on the hard drive and not having like a physical disc, right?
Well, the issue with that is you're going to piss off the retailers, and you're going to have to sell your own hardware. I mean, you're going to have to push your own hardware because GameStop is going to go away eventually. Then,
right?
Mom and pop GameStops are going to go away eventually. Then, so it's going to be up to you to.
Well, I mean, I think that's
Sony and Microsoft to push the devices, because there's not going to be any place for them to go to buy it.
It's a sad side effect, but I think that's going to be the inevitability, you know.
Yeah. So, and I think it's without say that I think the new systems will be native 4K, right?
Oh, sure. I mean, they have to. They have to.
Because right now we're like 4K scaling, right? We're upscaling.
Well, upscaling for the PS Pro. The Xbox, the Xbox One X
is not native 4K either. It's not native 4K.
It has 4K graphics and 4K output.
It does checkerboarding as well.
I don't know if that's true.
No, that's true.
Well, maybe
you can look that up. That's like absolutely true. It also does checkerboarding. It's not native 4K.
Here's the thing.
It's definitely better than the PS4 Pro.
Right. Well, here's the thing about that too, right? Like even if it does the checkerboarding and the PS4 Pro does the checkerboarding, like they're basically faking it to say like, look, we have 4K support. It's like, okay, you have 4K support. Do you have 60 frames a second? Probably not. Do you have, whatever, even higher than 60 frames a second? Do you have, do you support a wide color range for your games and whatnot? Maybe not.
No, I'm not arguing with you on that. I'm just saying.
No. But like, the reason I'm saying all that is like they have machines out now that are more powerful, but are still having trouble, even with the additional hardware. And we're going to get games that have much better graphics, right? In the next generation, it's going to be a big jump. Like it should be a big jump at least, right? It's going to be hard to maintain the 4K, the 60 frames a second, and whatever else, with PC, you can just say I'm going to buy better hardware. I'm going to upgrade so I'll be able to play in 4K and this and that. They usually don't have the same power that a PC does off the line, right? Like a high-end PC off the line is always going to beat out a console, right? It does good in the beginning, and then it slowly deteriorates because it's always the same hardware that's in there, So it's gonna be tough, We'll see what they promise, and then we'll see what they push. I'm still a little bit skeptical if you couldn't tell.
No, I see.
Yeah.
They have to have a slimmer design. The Xbox One. I don't know how. But the PS5 and the next Xbox will definitely will at least keep the slim design that they have now. It will not be any bigger. It cannot be the beta machine that the original Xbox One was.
Well, the One X managed to get the power supply in there and reduce the size, which was solid.
And I like the way the design of the PS4 Pro is because it's sort of like layered in like steps, right? So it has the illusion of being slimmer, but it's kind of not, but it's just layered. The design is sort of like layered. So I kind of like that.
Yeah.
And then here's the elephant in the room, VR, right? Like everyone right now, we're at the stage right now where we're saying VR needs to show us something. It needs to take the next step. We're gonna get a lot of PS, VR games, and definitely I think Sony is doubling down on PSVR going forward. Right, we already have two SKUs for the PSVR, right? Because they've already upgraded since the original. So I say we're gonna get better quality graphics in the next version of PSVR for PlayStation 5.
Oh, for certain. Going to be brand new hardware, brand new cameras, brand new everything. You have to rebuy everything over again, for sure. And it's going to be good. It's going to be a lot better. I would also say that it would be remiss for Microsoft not to get involved in VR. VR is I think it's proven that it's a thing now. People are okay with VR. We've had some AAA titles in VR.
The issue with VR right now is the wires and the setup.
Well, sure.
I think when we get to the point to where it's not as many wires. I think that's what the next gen needs to be. Like whatever the next PlayStation is, whatever the next Xbox is, we need to have a more convenient setup for it. I mean, right now my PSVR just collects dust.
Well, sure.
I'll be honest. And there are games I do want to play for it. I do want to play on it. The problem is every time I say I want to play, I think about the setup, and I'm like, oh, do I really want to go through all that and plug all these things in and do the wire, and then and I just say no, to be honest. So I think it needs to be an easier setup for it to really catch on and be a thing. And you're right. I think Xbox, Microsoft as a company is going to get into VR. They're already in AR with their HoloLens. I don't think
they haven't really had a product. They haven't had a viable product out. They had that demo for sure. But
no. I mean, they're working on it. They have nothing now. I don't think you can buy HoloLens.
No. They had a thing in like late 2013 or 14 maybe, which was like super cool, and really nothing since. So they have to be working on.
No, what are you talking about? HoloLens was at the E3 event 2 years ago when they showed off Minecraft.
Well, yeah, but you still can't buy anyone. You still can't buy it.
You can't buy it, but HoloLens is still. I mean, HoloLens, I think, was at their Microsoft event, the Microsoft event, not Xbox, but the Microsoft event last year. They showed off more HoloLens technology and more practical things you can do with it. HoloLens
but
is
it's
not.
Still not. I mean, but like, yeah. I mean, sure. I mean, they're probably still working on it, but the point of the matter is we don't have anything to buy now.
No. I know, but I'm saying Xbox is not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be an Xbox branded VR unit like PlayStation has a PSVR. I think it will be a Microsoft branded VR unit where Microsoft is working on VR, and they'll try to push the social aspect of it. And it can play games, so you can easily just plug it into your Xbox if you have one. Or your computer, your PC, because it works for Windows as well.
Sure. I mean that like having like a cross-platform thing is probably a really good idea, but you can't footnote the fact that it plays games. You got to bring that first and foremost.
You could plug it into Windows or your Xbox to play games. The same game.
Well, no, I know. But I mean, it's all about the marketing, right? If it's powerful enough to do it, you can promote it as a social thing and whatever else, and you can do all those cool things. But you also need to promote it concurrently to say it is a high-powered gaming headset, comparable, if not better, than the PlayStation offering.
I don't think they're going to get into a sort of like an argument, like a pissing match with PlayStation VR. I don't think they're going to go into this is better than PlayStation. They're going to say, because by all accounts right now, PSVR is just for gaming. So they're going to market it as this is a Microsoft branded VR headset that is used for practical matters, social, and in the social world. And you can plug it in. You can also plug it into your Xbox or PC to play games as well. And easy setup, easy to use, plug and play type of thing. Quality might not be great, but I think, and in Xbox, it will be Xbox branded games, all that stuff, and there'll be a Microsoft lens or whatever it's called. I think it's I don't think it'll be a Xbox thing. I think it'll be a Microsoft thing that easily works with Xbox or PC. Plug it in.
Right. I mean, they have their Windows platform, so I mean that certainly makes sense. Yeah.
Whatever the next gen is, already it has to play. It has to be backwards compatible with this generation, which will be last gen, and also with Xbox, it's going to play all of like every gen game, like Xbox 360, OG Xbox One. Question is, will we be able to play PlayStation 1 and 2 games?
What
on the PlayStation 5? That would be awesome.
Well, sure. I mean, I think it will in the form of downloads.
Same as today, really.
Same as today. I mean, why would it be any different? Like, if it's a game you want to play, right? How many people actually still own the original Gran Turismo or the original Crash Bandicoot?
I do.
Well, sure, we do because we're like collectors, but I don't know, like the amount of work that's involved because you have to have a physical disk drive in that case, which I think we're both on the same page. They probably will, but then you have to put in the emulator chip in there and then whatever else, or you can just have it all packaged up as a $5 download. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this game from back in the day. I will buy this game, and then you pay another $5 for it. So,
well, first of all, Xbox just destroys that because they are backwards compatible with first party Xbox games. So
well,
OG
I mean,
Xbox
but that just happened, like the original Xbox compatibility was like a couple months ago. It just came out.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because it's going to be going forward on the next Xbox. They're going to be
well,
playing Xbox
maybe,
One.
but I mean, it still takes R&D to make that happen. You know, it's not because it's going to be slightly different architecture and whatnot. Like,
well, Phil Spencer has already on the record said he wants every platform. He doesn't want to leave any gamer behind. So whatever platform you're on, he wants you to be able to play your games.
Sure.
And honestly, with this backwards compatibility patent, I think PlayStation obviously they want to have you play PlayStation 4 games, which if you're going to have this backwards compatibility patent, say that 10 times fast, you got to have a disk drive because we have the disk. But I also think they may come back with, hey, you can also play PS1 games if you own it, or PS2 games if you own it. PS3, not so much, maybe just because it's a different architecture, difficult to program for. But maybe they'll make that happen some way.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it has been 2 years since. Well, I'm sorry, two. It would be 2 generations since then.
Yeah.
But maybe. I mean, that's the dream, right? To be able to play everything from that brand, all the way down.
And only they're getting their Xbox, and this is what's best about having competition. Xbox is forcing their hand of backwards compatibility because remember, the streaming service only streamed like PS1 and PS2 games. Mm-hmm. So that was their solution to backwards compatibility. You can stream it, right? So I think they're seeing the success that Microsoft is having, and they're going to follow suit. Mm-hmm. So, and as far as PS5, the next Xbox, and the next PlayStation, I honestly think next PlayStation is going to launch with the next Last of Us Part 2 and or Death Stranding, while Xbox 3, Xbox, I don't know.
I don't think it'd be a 3. That'd be weird.
Xbox. Oh, how about this? Xbox One X2.
Oh God, no.
I think that's gonna launch with Halo 6.
That's certainly a possibility. They are definitely working on a Halo. I mean, we don't know anything for sure, but guaranteed behind the scenes, 343 Studios is doing that. It would definitely align with either the end of this generation or first on the new Xbox. And the Last of Us thing is kind of strong too. I would probably say Death Stranding more than The Last of Us. The Last of Us Part 2, I bet, is going to be out at the end of this year. Or like early next year.
Well, The Last of Us Part 2, I mean, The Last of Us was a late PS3 game.
Yeah.
It got remastered for PS4. Mm-hmm. Yeah, The Last of Us Part 2 could sort of be like Twilight Princess, right? Come out on
we get the remaster. I was just going to say, I was just going to say, make it out for both. Which they are very, very quick to do that. They're like, oh, here's an enhanced version for the new console.
Yeah. But I'll be remiss to say we have not talked about Nintendo, and I saved the best for last. So I think we're going to get 2 Switches, 2 different types. We're going to have 3 SKUs of Switches. We're going to have the regular Switch that we have now. That's going to be the middle tier. At some point, the 3DS has to die, right? It can't go on much longer.
Yeah, after next year, that's probably going to be it.
That's probably going to. You're right. That's probably going to be it. So I think we're going to get sort of like a lesser model Switch with the Joy-Cons don't detach, right? That will be sort of their lower end model. Mm-hmm. They have the middle tier, which is the Switch we have now, and then I think we're gonna get a Pro Switch. Don't know what it's gonna call. I'm hoping for the Super Switch. That would be better.
Super Switch and Light Switch are definitely big candidates in my book. Come on, Light Switch would be awesome.
Where it would play games 4K on the TV when you dock it. I don't know. Again, I'm not an engineer. I don't know if that's something that could just be done with the dock, or does the hardware need to have something on it to match with the dock?
The hardware is doing all the work. The dock is just there as like a pass through, basically a way to like put it down. So the hardware needs to be able to churn that out. The reason they don't do it on the go is it would drain the battery life and get way too hot. So they just don't have the capability to do that on the go. So
yeah. And then lastly, it needs to have built-in Bluetooth. I'm sorry.
Oh God. I mean, they should just, I don't know why they didn't do that to begin with. Like that's just dumb. That's just dumb. And I agree with you. 3 SKUs, possibly 2. They may get rid of the original and just have the Pro and the Lite, or maybe they'll keep the OG one around for a little bit too. All of that seems like a safe bet for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's probably coming sometime. Maybe around the launch of the other systems. When the PS5 comes out and the Xbox 2 or whatever it's going to be comes out. Nintendo may be like, we're in the game too. Boom, here you go. Here's a new thing. So yeah.
My wild predictions. Okay, here's my wild one. The new Xbox is going to be called Xbox 720X.
Right. Okay.
No.
Wow.
No,
I mean,
360.
Sure. If you're like a pro skater, I mean, I don't. You basically just named a Tony Hawk move.
And then Sony will have the PS5, the PSVR 2,
and
a PlayStation Portable 2.
Well,
they're gonna have a portable. They're gonna have a Switch.
No,
they're gonna the VR
not.
The PSVR 2 will be a removable Vita or PSP Portable.
Oh God, you're talking crazy. You're talking crazy.
Yes,
you just ingested a ton of crazy pills. I will not stand for your crazy talk.
So I can put it in my headset, and that will be the screen, and I can take it out and take it with me on the go. And play.
You live in a pipe dream. You live in a pipe dream.
Come on, Sony is crazy enough to do something just like that.
Yeah, Sony is crazy. I will agree with you, but
I think they're crazy enough to do that. Listen, the Vita 2, the PSP 2. I think they're going to get away from the Vita name and just go PSP 2.
Right. Maybe. Stranger things have happened. So. Yeah, so I mean, that about wraps it up for our next gen predictions. We shall see how much of this falls out, how much Dan got wrong, how much I got right.
The Vita 2 will live. I'm telling you, the Vita 2 or PSP 2 will live.
Right.
Sony will have another handheld. Mark my words.
Look. I'm sure you guys have comments, the fans, the listeners, and we definitely want to hear from you. And if you want to hit us up, you can hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, YouTube, and Vero at Rated G for Gamers. You can email us at info@ratedgforgamers@gmail.com. So we definitely love to hear from you. So please like, listen, subscribe, and as always,
keep gaming.